Hi, I'm Wes from Tap Edit Go, and I'm going to show you how to set up an amazing wireless microphone system for your smartphone. So Rode has released this amazing wireless microphone called the Rode Wireless Go. Now it is so good because it's so small and so simple to be able to set up. Now you have two little squares and it comes in a nice little packet like this, which I like to keep. But basically before we get into the setting up, I need to explain something about wireless audio because it's actually tech savvy and it's a little bit tech complicated to be able to set up. And if you don't understand how audio and the cabling works, you're not going to be able to set it up correctly. So you've got two little squares and you've got a transmitter and a receiver. You've got two separate things. So basically how this works is that the audio that's on you sends all the way to a receiver no matter where you are. This has a 100-meter direct line of sight range. Now if you go behind walls or any other kind of barriers, it's not going to be able to pick up the audio clearly. So you need to make sure that you have the transmitter and receiver in line of sight no matter where you are, but up to 100 meters, which is pretty incredible. So the best thing is these things are very small. Now the way that you tell the difference between the transmitter and receiver is the receiver actually has a little screen on it and it looks amazing and it has a little indication of the volume and level of audio that you have coming through. Now I have to explain a little bit about how the cables work for this system because these are actually designed for professional cameras. They're not designed for smartphones. Now the professional cameras have a cable, now it needs to plug into a camera somewhere, and the receiver has a little plug that you plug this in. But you can see here that there's a system that has two rings. These input has two rings. Those little black rings, 1 and 2, are two little rings that you need to really remember because two rings work with professional cameras. They do not work with smartphones. If I pull out my lapel microphone that I usually use for my smartphone videos and look at the input there, the input here has 3 rings, 1, 2, and 3. So the reason that there's 3 rings is when Apple first released their headphones, they actually put a microphone on the headphone, that little white rectangle thing on the headset. So you had 1 headphone, 2 headphone outputs, and a microphone input. And how that works is left, right, microphone input. That last one is the microphone input that registers on your smartphone. So even though that these headphones will work identically with a camera, no matter where you put it, because the jacks are the same size, they won't actually register the input and the audio that comes through them unless you have the right ring system set up. So we need to make sure that if we're going to use these wireless Go microphones on a smartphone, we convert these 2 ring systems to a 3-ring system. And the only way you can do that is by having a converter. Now there's 2 different types of converters. I have one here that has a female input and a male output. That's what they're called, female and male. So I actually plug my male into the female here, plug, and then I have 2-ring system to a 3-ring system. So now when I'm plugging that in and trying to plug it onto my smartphone, it will work because it's got a 3-ring system for my smartphone. Hopefully you're following me on this because it's very complicated, but that is how the 3-ring system works. Now you've got your transmitter, so that goes onto your body, and you've got the receiver here. Now there is another red cable that has a black and grey. Now Rode did a very smart thing of saying all the 3-ring systems have a grey head. Grey head, grey head. And there's a red cable that has 1 black and 1 grey. 2 rings to a 3-ring, which you might have as well instead of this cable. That works just the same. You just have to make sure that the 2-ring system gets plugged into the receiver and the 3 rings goes into your smartphone, basically like that. Now, if you do not have a headphone jack on your smartphone, you will need to use your Apple converter to lightning bolt or whatever is out that works with your phone now. If you're using Android, they work the same, but I recommend buying good quality ones, not ones from eBay, because sometimes they only give you the headphones and not microphone input. So that's the system that I'm going to set up on my smartphone. I'm going to move my microphone out, but basically now I can plug this in and I'm ready to record a video. So now before I start my screen recording, I like to test out with voice memo. I like to set up a voice memo and press record. Now I haven't got my microphone on yet, so you can see it is just flat lining. So how to turn my microphone is I press the bottom button on my receiver and a wireless Go comes up. And the transmitter, I turn that on And the great thing, and it's already picking up audio. And if you can see here, there is a little volume icon coming up showing my voice. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And you can see if I go too loud, it will peak. It will hit that red line, which we don't want. And you can see the indication is working the same on my smartphone. Now this will be very clear. Now if I switch to my audio on my smartphone, this is what the audio sounds like on my smartphone. But now I'm going to switch back to my camera audio. Now this is me just talking on my camera audio, but that's the quality there. It's really good. Now, there's a little button that I would like to tell you about. It's called the dB button. This increases the volume of the output out of your transmitter. I need to tell you this because you might have that distorting noise. If that's the case, it's because you have the dB up. Now, if you see this little triangle in the bottom corner, I'm not sure if you can see that, it's like a little sloping triangle in the bottom of your wireless microphone. If you press that a couple of times, you can see here on the audio that it's starting to increase on my voice memo. It's starting to get a bit louder. Now, if I go too hard, it's now, and now I go back to the audio on my smartphone. This is how it's creamuling and not sounding great audio, because I'm now putting that near my face and my audio, and it's really not good. So I need to press that and turn that back down. And it's not, there it goes. Now it's going to go back down, and you can see the audio is a lot better and the quality of the audio is good. If we start increasing it, that's going to start distorting, and we don't want that, and you've just got to go through the dBs until I find the perfect setting, which is down the very bottom. It needs to be at its lowest because it's going into the camera perfectly. That is just, again, this is very tech savvy, so I needed to be able to show you this and maybe how it works. Now the great thing about the transmitter is it has a built-in microphone already there. So if I tap on that, you can see it on my voice memo, and that audio is recording perfectly. Going back to my smartphone video, you can hear me tapping. This is the audio from my smartphone, and if you see me tapping on my microphone, it's picking up. Just the same if I go back to my camera, if I tap on my wireless microphone here, you can hear it on my camera. So that's how audio works. Now, the best thing is you have the line of sight for 100 meters. This is such an amazing little device, and you can keep going anywhere you go. When you clip that on, you've got this set up great, and you don't need a wireless lapel microphone, but you do have a square on your shirt, and some people might not like that. Sometimes I like to hide it off on the inside, so you just see a little clip, you don't actually see that square. So this is a really easy system, but if you actually want to plug in your smart lav lapel microphone that you might be using with your smartphone, you have to remember you need to convert the 3 rings into 2 rings before plugging in here, because as soon as I plug this in, you can see on my voice memo, it doesn't work. It's not working at all, it's just flatlining, because I've plugged in a microphone that has a 3-ring system into a 2-ring input. Doesn't work that way. And if I take it out, you can see here. Now, for the example, there is converters that go to 3 to 2, which usually come in our wireless audio kits. So you might have one already that be able to do that. But remember, gray to black into here. Now here, I have one that's just a 2-ring system. So this is another lapel microphone from Rode, but it just has a 2-ring. Now, if I plug that in, you can see that the audio is perfectly working. And now I can use my lapel here, which I tap on here. Now that's picking up the audio from my lapel microphone here. And it looks great, it looks amazing and works really well. So this can clip onto my belt and clip on just like this one, hidden away. If you like that lapel system, it's really good. Now, that's how complicated the Wireless Go audio system is. To be honest, I like direct line because having an extension lead with this smart lav lapel is easier to set up, and it doesn't need batteries, doesn't need time to make sure everything's set up properly, and you have less room for error. So I prefer this, but if you need to be wireless because you're a physical PE, a personal trainer, you're a yoga instructor, or you're just a presenter on a big stage that you need to be a distance away from, wireless might be the better option for you. But you need to make sure you're setting up your wireless audio correctly. You need to make sure you have the lapel, the 2 and the 3-ring system. The 2 and the 3-ring system set up correctly. If you don't have that set up correctly, it's never going to work. You just need to make sure you're doing that correct. So that's how you set up a wireless system. If you have any questions, you just need to reach out to me or one of my team members at tapaditgo.com, and we are more than happy to help out. We really want to just make sure you use the accessories correctly and you have it all set up nice and properly. You're going to remember it's easy to make professional smartphone videos. You just have to tap, edit, go.